Now. Okay. So, like I said, we are going to share. We have Anne and Asha and Sarah and myself are going to share a bit about, just quickly, a bit about what we did for our National Good Neighbor Day, how we celebrated, marked the occasion last year. So I'm going to share my screen so I can share people's just quick slides. All right, so first to kick us off is Anne. Anne, are you ready?
I am ready. So I'm really passionate about the idea of schools are part of our neighborhood and how we should support our schools and, make them feel like they're part of our neighborhood. And I happen to live in a neighborhood where many people choose to go to private school. And I think families are really great at supporting their kids' schools, but almost when you're doing that, sometimes you forget about the neighborhood school that's part of your neighborhood. So, kind of in the spirit of, be the change you want to see in the world, I wanted to do my neighborhood project with the neighborhood school, which which had some challenges, but I'm really glad I did it. First, my kids are out of school, so I'm not a parent in the school. I really am someone in the community that cares about the school, and so I had to find a way in. And schools, they every year have more rules and things are complicated and like increasing security and all these things. So I decided to work with someone who works with an organization that's in the school because it's a quick project and I just wanted to find a way in. And so I collaborated, which I recommend whenever you can, although it does add another layer. And I don't have any pictures of people because we're dealing with minors and we couldn't take any pictures of any of the people. But originally I kind of had this idea like, oh, maybe we'll come have morning bagels and coffee or something. But it turned out it wasn't as easy to come up with something that wasn't disruptive to the school day or to the routines things. So, and also it turns out I don't know what these students need. I was going to a high school, and the high school has a big range of students from high need, a huge range of um, uh, socioeconomic conditions and stuff. So I talked with this person and they said, well, they are really into mechanical pencils this year, which I would not, that was not even on my radar at all. But I'm like, oh, I love mechanical pencils too. And so they're like, if we could, we focused on a group of kids that need extra math support, and we came in and then they also said they love high chews, and so we're doing mechanical pencils and high chews, which I never would have thought of had I not talked to someone who's really working in there with the kids every day. So I just liked that we came up with that. Um, I personally had some issues dealing with the gift card we had to use. And so it was a little bit of a comedy of errors where I didn't quite understand that you have to be under the gift card because I was like, oh, I'll just go to Costco and I'll give them the gift card and I'll pay what's ever over it. But it turns out it just declines. So I because of that I ended up having more of the gift card to use. um, so I ended up buying some more pencils, and then because of my mishap, I also decided to get some extra gift cards to give the teachers because we all know teachers need support and teachers are having a lot on their plate these days. So we added some little there's a Starbucks right two doors down from the school. So we added some Starbucks gift cards for the teachers. And then I wanted to, since these were kids who had some struggles with math, I tried to create a math theme. So you can see I've got this little trifold in the corner where I I was explaining because I wanted kind of just to show, we care about you. How can we all care about each other? And so I created like a little math formula about maybe it's being I can't remember. G is like good neighbor equals positive actions plus absence of negative actions. And then I asked the question, what would you do? And had people write down their suggestions, which of course you can't read in the size of the photo, but I didn't get as much participation in that, which I personally was excited to see what they would say. But I think overall it was great because even when I contacted the person at the organization that say, "Hey, I want to do this for Good Neighbor Day," they didn't know about Good Neighbor Day, and they were very excited, and they said, "Love that you're doing this. I love that you're showing up for our students," and then they loved that, for the students just to see that these people. I have a son too, who these people from the community are showing up, and they want to um, give us something that we like. So that's kind of it in a nutshell.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Anne. I'm a big fan of mechanical pencils myself, but they were, I think when I was in school, they were pretty new and like really like the good, you know, the things my mom wouldn't spend money on that I thought we should have. So I love that they're back. Um, let's see my slide. There we are. I'm going to share what my family did for National Good Neighbor Day. Um, we celebrated by inviting neighbors to get together to design a flag for our street. Um, we text a lot of invites, so we would have been texting most of our neighbors with the, hey, feel free to invite, not necessarily a group chat. This was not, it was individual text, just to clarify. Just to say, hey, we did it on actual, like I do think on the real day of National September 28th. We kind of already knew that we had some creatives in the neighborhood and artists who could help us with design. In the end result, that is not me. And it's nobody in my family that knows how to do it. So when we got together, we had some snacks, some drinks, some snacks, and you can kind of see that everybody's hanging out. We broke into some small groups. Obviously, all ages were there, and I think we probably asked people to split up into groups so you weren't with your whoever you live with. Try to divide up amongst yourselves in different groups. Can't remember exactly how we phrased it, but that was probably it. You'll see these pictures and posters that everybody created and added to of, what are the things that you think of when you think of Clark Street? That's our street name. What do you love about it? All that kind of good stuff. So people just sort of drew, again, wide varieties of how well we drew or just wrote down lists, whatever it might be. And this that you see there is at the top is the design that one of the neighbors, Frankie, helped us. She actually put it in, like I said, we already knew we had some insight info, we know people well enough to know that they will be able to take these posters and be like, okay, here you go, Frankie, Hannah, who wants them? Do it. So just to explain some of the, because there's some symbolism in our little poster. One, we are the most west side of our little town, Bellevue. So the sun sets on Clark Street was one of the things somebody came up with. Um, the flowers and the beauty, right? People appreciate people's gardens and what they've got growing. Kids on their bikes, probably could be a scooter. Maybe I think this is the summer of scooters, but I think last year it was more bikes. So those are the kids and people riding bikes, which, just including the kids, they probably would have had that on their posters wherever they were, the importance of that. And I think for the adults, pretty safe, like safety concerns of you better slow down on our street because there are kids not always paying attention to the rules of the road. And the rope is significant too. So the thing we're near the river, and historically, the history of our street was that we've seen a census, and this was a rope walk at some point, like how they made rope, like like going back and forth. And for those that understand what that means, that's why it's there. If you don't, I don't know that I really do either, but somehow they would run the walk, rope up and back and then take it down to the river for that. So this was our project, is what we did. It was probably just a couple hours long. Pretty fun, a little different from some of the other gatherings that we have because it did have that sort of creative spark from the beginning, which I think made some people a little uncomfortable and some people really enjoyed. So it was a good time. And then this year we actually plan to celebrate by actually having the flags made because we don't have them. We have not actually, we can send off the design and actually have the flag fabric. They will send us, so many. So that's our plan. All right. And next, Asha.
Yes. National Good Neighbor Day. Yes. Well, for those who knows or does not know, we are known as Operation Hello Neighbor. And we had to take a different approach since most of the community knows us as giving events. And you know what? Instead of bringing our neighbors to us, we went to them. That's how we got to moving differently for this. No event, no expectations, no flyers, just a simple reminder that everyone in our community matters. That's what we did. Um, we gave our neighbors long-lasting affirmation tumblers, which are pictured there, with the straws and everything, and what had candy inside of it. And we put it in a bag and we made it all fancy and cute. We thought we did something spectacular. Obviously, that's what we thought. And we had our little tags on it, and it did say things like just a little, a little something from Operation Hello Neighbor. And because we have so much turnover, a lot of people didn't know us as we thought they did. So it was a little different conversation. I have like a little mini story for you in my story. Okay. One of the neighbors came home and she found hers on the door, as you see pictured. If you weren't there, we put it on your doorknob. Everyone else, if we knocked, they answered, we explained what we were doing. But if you weren't there, we hung it on your door. And we went to every door on our street. As you can see, Austin with his lovely yellow shirt, his signature shirt of yellow, and he has all the bags. So hers was hanging up, and when she came home from work, um, the next day, she was walking around trying to find out who left this at the door, who did this. And she's asking all the neighbors, and she went to the management and she went to maintenance. And they're like, well, if it was anyone, I'm pretty sure it was 48. That's our door number. So, so she came to our home and she talked to us, and she said that the gesture reminded her of the community and the culture that she was used to, that she left behind when she moved here to United States. And I'm like, wow. And she said she hasn't had that kind of feeling since she's moved here, and she really appreciated it. And for me to hear that, I'm like, something so small could carry so much meaning. And all we did was give you a cup that said something positive that we hoped would help you out for the day. And I will tell you, Good Neighbor Day reminded us that we don't always have to bring people together. Sometimes we simply just need to remind them they belong. And that's what we saw with our neighbor, because it didn't take us doing a whole event. It took a knock on the door, some candy in a cup with some great words. And now we have a memory of a moment that was opposite of what we're used to doing. And now that is something new, I'm pretty sure we're going to be tapping into that side of what Operation Neighbor could be and what our family could bring to the community. And that's my story.
Thank you, Asha. That's beautiful. What a beautiful. I'm glad that neighbor came to find you, right? They made that effort track you down to let you know how much it meant. And who knows, right? You don't know how many other people had that thought that you didn't hear from. Sarah.
Oh man, Asha, I wrote that down. Sometimes just remind them they belong. I love that. Well, and also Anne and Bridget, I loved your projects. Now I'm jealous and now I don't want to talk about mine. But I was very excited because I was like, oh, a party. And so I was like, I went and got a ton of food. And this is, for those that know me, I was like, I just went with like just what would be cool, but not like logistics. I was like, I had like a taco bar and a lasagna bar. It's like two different things with two different needs, but it definitely brought the neighbors out. So my kids and I on the Good Neighbor Day website, the National Good Neighbor website, there was postcards and you can print them out and they kids colored them. So we put them on everyone's door on our little street. And then we put out this big sign to come out. Now, I don't know if Timmy's on, but we're a big football town and there was a football game that night. So I was like, I'll just feed everyone and we'll kind of tailgate and everyone will go to the game. And so we got some feedback. I knew some people were coming, but I was like, oh no, I got too much food. You know, I was starting to be like, but I got some clipboards and there was a get to know your neighbor bingo game you could download. And we did that. And then, you know, the person who finished first would get a mum. I had some mums, like the flowers. And I guess word of mouth, like neighbors started telling other neighbors that I didn't have text to because we didn't have a neighbor text before this happened. And so I was just relying on the few neighbors I talked to and these little invites. Well, it turns out like a lot of people skipped the football game. Everyone ate the food. I had to bring all my rocking chairs back and like the neighbors brought, you know, those like little fire ring things that can travel. They brought those out, and in that parking lot at the bottom, they brought all their camping chairs and their fire pits, and everyone just like stayed out having fun till like 11 that night. And we had permission from the neighbors up on the hill to use that parking lot. So it was like just I was surprised at how organically it kind of people started to enjoy it. And then I will say like Forrest, who my husband sometimes with these things, he's always like, why are we doing this? He was like zoned in with a neighbor, finding out her history, like, and now like he's like, did you know that our neighbor did this? And it like all the lore. So it was like a really great like one night event. And I really look forward to doing it again. I think it was really awesome.
Thank you, Sarah. Sorry, I hit the slideshow before I meant to. Didn't mean to cut you off. It felt like that. Did not mean to do that. Well, I love it, Sarah. I think we've all had those experiences where sometimes like what you plan and how it goes on, you know, people are enjoying it and it lasts longer than you expect or goes beyond what you planned. And I was going to, hold on. All right. Well, I'll do that in a second. Love it. So I've got a few questions if you guys are willing to kind of think about them with me and answer. Um, First, Asha, because I know this about you, you have just recently moved. So we are hoping that your neighbors will embrace where you used it. Somebody will take over. Was it 48? Number 48? Like, hopefully somebody's going to step into that role this year. But how does it feel in a new neighborhood, like for this year, like, and stepping into that space? Like, what are your thoughts and plans for that?
Well, with the new community and the new space, we have a porch. So we're going to be some porch people, okay? We're going to create some of that there. And we have been watching, you know, the movement of the community. and we have wonderful bikers with motors and without. So I think that we're going to have a good time introducing ourselves. I've already stuck a sticker inside my mailbox that tells our post person, thank you for all you do. So we're changing our surroundings, but we're not changing who we are. So I think it's going to be different. But at the same time, it's a lot of community places. Like I know I can connect to the barbecue place that's like 2 doors down. We didn't have that. So I'm going to have a lot of fun playing with our new neighborhood. And I feel it. I really do. I feel it. Yeah. It's going to be fun.
I love it. I love it. Sarah, Ann, I don't know how long you've lived in yours, but Sarah, I know you've been in your neighborhood for a while. Did it feel different to do something like since you've been there? Was it like starting something new? Did it feel
I I will say I'm embarrassed that I learned names of people that I spoke to every day on their walks, but I was like, so it felt different because like it was more like intentional, like I like come eat and like we had these questions, so it was kind of nice. And it was what I also thought was interesting is that they all wanted something like this. Like everybody was like, "Oh yeah, we need to have block parties. We need to do this." But it just took like one night of like, "Oh, okay, let's do it." And now I have people asking me if we're doing it again. So I thought that was really cool. But it took like 13 years for me to get it together.
years in the making? Years in the making. I'm gonna share just so you guys have it because Sarah, you mentioned so this is National Good Neighbor Day, and I think that's the site you were mentioning that has a lot of like resources and tools that can be used, like the postcards and maybe the bingo, and who knows what you'll find. You'll find something you can use and think of there. Um, and what do you think about this year? Like, what do you have you thought about this year's Neighbor Day and anything from last year to this year? Like same thing, new?
Well, that is such a good question. I am thinking about this year, but it's been a really busy August, and so it's like one of those I need to look at the calendar. So last year, it was challenging. I really wanted to do it, but of the dates that we were traveling, and there was one day that I could do it, and so um, that made it really hard. But I definitely want to do something again, and I'm not sure. I'm gonna see the person I collaborated with tomorrow, so I could say, hey, do you want to try something this year? Or I might do something completely different. I'm inspired, like I was thinking about. I love what Asha said that you don't always need to bring people together. You can remind them that they belong, and so that sort of got me thinking. So I'm uncertain. But the one thing I really like I took away from this is that like so often, and I'm a parent of an adult with disability, and I know some of you guys are. So often people are sending me to organizations or you're looking for who's the organization where we can get together. So I really love about this is like we can be the ones. We can be the ones who do it. And so that's kind of the spirit I want to bring this year.
Absolutely. Love it. Love it. Asha, what do you think, like, do you have advice that you would give, like, for people that are thinking about something or like what helped you get started? And you would, I mean, maybe you have to rewind beyond the Good Neighbor Day because you were already in Operation Hello Neighbor. So you
Mhm.
might have to rewind further than just last year. But just like advice on if you're like, I don't know, this is weird. My neighbors, I don't know their names. Sarah, like I say hi. But if you had advice to give around, what's an easy way to get started?
I would say trust you. You have to trust you because at first I didn't trust me. I'm like, I don't know these people. I'm not doing this. This is not it. But I know me. So why not just trust me and know that who I am is exactly who I'm bringing to this community. So I don't have to change. I can just be me and show them who I am. And then everybody else can either enjoy the ride or don't get on the ride. It's one or the other. So I think that's what it is. Trust you. So that's really what I would say. Just trust you and do what you love. Who says you can't? You know me, I live in a loophole, so I don't ask for permission. So
I do appreciate the do what you love already. As an example, just to bring this, I was on a call yesterday that somebody's trying to start a project, kind of like this, like getting to know people. And Sarah, I think you're gonna love this. She was wearing a self-design, like custom t-shirt of her pet, Edgar Allan Poe, and had cat photos. And so, it's just kind of funny as we're talking, I'm like, she's really thinking hard about what to do and who they're going to be. And I'm like, well, what about pet t-shirts? Like, couldn't that? And she was like, I mean, yeah. And I was just like, you're wearing your like, why not do that with everyone? Like, get together and everyone design, like, so, Asha, great advice. And sometimes we forget, even for ourselves, what we enjoy. And the fact that sometimes, like, sometimes we say like the more out of the box, like the better, right? Like, okay, like that's amazing. Like, luckily, I was like, what are you, like on my little, like, let me put up my glasses. What shirt are you wearing? I thought it was like a band shirt, right? Like, and I'm like, is that a cat? Like, wait, what's going on? So, anyway, but yes, do what you love because then it can't go, like, you're not going to be disappointed. You end up with your own pet shirt. Oh, I don't know. You already got one. Yeah, Sarah, you like that? Sarah loves a good t-shirt and maybe a good name like that.
A good pun. Now I'm inspired. I want to be more whimsy this year.
More whims. All right,
I
say
want
more.
I want the bubble machine thing to happen. I want to make my street more weird in a good way. I want
Okay.
everyone to have a bubble machine and we have a day of bubbles, like an event where all the bubbles are going. Okay, I don't know if that's gonna happen, but like that inspired because yeah,
That's it.
yeah.
Whatever you want to have happen.
And then
I have
yeah.
a question. I'm all about the whimsy. I love that. So like when Sarah was talking about the postcard, I'm like, could I make a postcard that uses that cool picture in the Inclusion Seekers Guide and maybe have a little QR code to the guide? Would you guys be okay with that?
100%, Anne. Yeah. Yeah. Tell me what you need. We can send it to you. Yeah. If you need an actual, like,
Yeah. Or maybe we could finish our paint. I don't think we'll get it done in time, but we could paint ours and then use it. But that might be
yeah.
too ambitious, but I
Yes.
will.
So I can pull up so Anne is referencing a life making guide. If you haven't been around, so we have just created a little guide. So if you haven't seen it, I'll find the link or if, well, there you go. Kathleen's got the lot. There it is, live in her hands. So there's that. Um, so if anyone, just to open it up, if anybody else has questions, or, if you've been at our stories before, a lot of times we open it up, just say like, oh my gosh, I really appreciate this about the story or this. So you're welcome to do that too, but we'll like, it can also be questions too at the same time, practical things.
Okay, I'm curious for Asha's idea. What did it take to fund, you think, like that?
well, we had an amount of $250, and I was able to give out um 100 cups with candy and everything. So yeah, and I'm a bargain Betty. I mean, I will look at stuff 10,000 times before I settle on a price. So so the cups were not expensive. It was just candy and the bags, weren't expensive. So we were able to tap into more people than most people probably would have in on their street. But it's because I have so many doors. So that's what it was, so many doors. But yeah, because I know when I do things, I find ways that's not expensive because you can say a lot without spending lots of money. So yeah.
I have a follow-up question for Asha. You had like a little tag or something on the bags. I was curious what the tag said.
The tags said, let me look myself because it's been that was last year, Miss. So no, I could have sworn it said, it said happy Good Neighbor Day from Operation Hello Neighbor, and I printed it on cardstock. That wasn't the original plan. The original plan was a keepsake that was going to say that, like for you, like a cup to hold your cup. But they were sold out before I can order them. So we just made the cardstock ones, and all the lovely emoji things. I was able to add in, heart emoji to make it look a little fancy. That's all it was. Piece of paper. Yeah.
I just wanted to share something. We met yesterday in our neighborhood to talk about ideas for National Good Neighbor Day. And we did that for a couple of reasons. One, it's just an extra opportunity to meet, and it also helps people to buy into it so that we're not the only ones doing everything. But this woman, only one person came, although all four of my family was there, which is really good. But in any event, this woman came and she's very big on creating a logo. And her reason for this is that she thinks that this will keep going. And she also thinks that there'll be opportunities throughout the year to do different things, like from that list from the Good Neighbor Day website. And she said, wouldn't it be great if it just was a reminder to everyone all the time? So if you send emails out to someone, you can just say, hey, this is what we're going to do, and you can have the logo on it. And so I said, okay, I'll look into that. And my husband got onto ChatGPT. We were at a concert last night. He got onto ChatGPT while we're waiting, and it came up with 4 logos. So just so you know, like he put in, I can ask him the specifics, but I think he said the name of where we live and Good Neighbor Day. And I think he said, give me several options, have it reflect this community. And it was absolutely amazing. It came up with things that looked like houses around me. And it even had, we have this like bell tower in the middle of the community, and it looked like the bell tower, and it was really amazing. So if anyone's looking for anything, not necessarily a logo, but if you're going to do something and you're putting out signs or sending out cards, and I use the free ChatGPT. He's a teacher, so he pays for the full subscription so he can see what his students are cheating on. But in any event, it was a really good resource to do that. And I played around with it today, and it came up with some really great stuff. So if you're looking for something quick and easy, and again, you only have to sign up for the free ChatGPT, you don't have to subscribe to the whole thing. It's a good resource for anything you might want to create. You just put it in and you can tweak it as it'll say, do you want me to do something different? And so anyway, I wasn't negative about the logo thing, but that wasn't what I was thinking I needed to work on first. But I think she's really right, because her thoughts to me, and she's someone who in the past, when I went to her, like last year, I went to her about Good Neighbor Day. We didn't do anything because I wasn't in town, but she came up with these really great ideas, but they required me connecting with all these people, which obviously that's what we want to do, but it had more to do with like connecting with the village council and the this and the this. And I was like, yeah, this is getting too complex. And I think the more complex it is, the less likely I'm going to get people to help me with it. So anyway, we didn't do anything last year. And this year, her take was, let's just do something easy. And then there's somebody in the community who keeps like a mailing list of people. And she said, go talk to her and have her say, hey, this is what we're doing in this part of where we live. Here are some ideas. What do you want to do in your, on your street or in your block or around the park that's next to you? And then we're just going to hopefully they're going to reply to me and tell me what they want to do. And then we're going to put something together and she'll send out a final thing like, here's what's going on this street. Here's what's going on over here. Here's what's going on over here. And we can all kind of move around and try out each other's things. It might be just that our neighborhood, our little like area is doing it, which is fine.
Yeah.
But anyway, she thinks it's gonna take on a life of its own. And I have to agree because even though many people responded to us and said they couldn't come to the meeting yesterday, it was the first day back to school. I completely forgot. But a lot of people responded saying that they couldn't come, but they were going to be here in September for the Good Neighbor Day. And several people had ideas that they shared with us. So I do think it will eventually take on a life of its own.
Yeah.
So this year we're just going to kind of start small and do what we can do and see what other people might step up to do.
I think even Kathleen, just even within the stories that you heard, there's the different levels of permission granting. You know, like Asha I don't think, had to ask permission anywhere at any time to do the drop off, right?
Right.
Sarah asked permission to use the parking lot. I think she put that in there. And Anne, dealing with the school, had a little more permission red tape kind of thing.
Right.
That kind of but any and all things are, like anything is good. And it does take, but Anne too, I think you said like you already had somebody you knew on the inside. So it wasn't just I'm going to start going to a school board meeting and ask permission, right? Like the difference in, where would that have, like, I don't know, my own take on systems and institutions, like little, even more red tape if you started from that level of permission granting versus starting with somebody on the inside. So I think that's, I think that's the beauty in the Neighbor Day idea is that it can be pretty small. It can be pretty, like, just start something versus make this huge change in your city or your neighborhood or your town. It can be a pretty small, just this block, just, to your point, like this street's going to celebrate this way. That street will celebrate like just own what you can and enjoy what you accomplish. Any other questions or comments?
I just want to say, I mean, like, I think the neighborhood is the Wild West. Like, people are not exploring it like they should. We're not, I mean, we always say you get in these bubbles, right, where you just hang out with what you say or people like you. You can do that everywhere, online and in your school and in your workplace. And when you're in a neighborhood, you don't get to choose who buys the house next to you or across the street from you. And so, one of the most transformative opportunities in our world and in this work of making sure that we all belong, everyone, we mean everyone, the best way to do that is to cross over and help each other see each other as people that we can know, eventually get along with, have a drink with, you know, have our kids play together, design a flag. I mean, celebrate the teachers. I mean, all the stuff y'all have done is just incredible and just really, it's such rich ground and it's so unexplored and not with intention, at least. So thank you all for doing it.
Anyone else have a question or a comment? All right. Well,
Oh, I had something.
Amina, go ahead, Amina.
Hi, sorry, my face isn't visible. Hope you can hear me okay?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, yeah. It's the first day of school here, so my kiddos are running around and my basement has taken a little water, so I yeah. Sucks to be me kind of right now, but that's okay. But I did want to piggyback on what Tim said. Being a part of these meetings and stuff has kind of opened my eyes to the kind of like you said, the wild, wild west of neighborhoods, or just the possibility of, people next door. Because I used to live on a street with very large houses and very large yards, and it would take, 50 steps before you got to your neighbor. And now I'm in um, more of a city. So my neighbors are really, really close. But I'm saying all that to say that I finally had a neighbor who they built their house and they moved in. They've been building this house for, I don't know, for a while. And they moved in yesterday or 3 days ago. And I saw her and I came outside. Even though I was doing something else, I stopped what I was doing, went outside, introduced myself, welcomed her to the neighborhood, told her, about me and my sons, and we live here, and just saying hi. And she really appreciated it. She said, I'm gonna have a barbecue soon, and I hope you can come. And I thought that was like, oh, that was nice of her to say that. But yeah, so I just want to say thank you all for what you do because it matters a lot.
I love it, Amina.
Yeah.
Love it. Thank you for sharing and sharing that. Who know, you might have inspired that barbecue. She's probably like, okay, well, if I do it and Amina comes, at
Maybe
least it'll
so.
be, again, like if there's two of us, that's good. Like we'll get to know each other.
That's
Beautiful.
Oh,
right.
then Amina, ask her if she likes Mario.
All right, Mario
You
Kart, that's the next.
you don't understand. My event is it's taking off in a way that I had never imagined. I'm so excited. So excited.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you guys can hear a hint of a project that involves Mario Kart and kids and families and I guess more people than Amina expected.
Yes. Standing room only is,
Wonderful.
I hope. So we'll see.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. Thank you, Amina.
I was gonna share our idea quickly. We started with, well, I wanted my whole family involved in this. So we were gonna do a dog walking thing, and then we're like, well, not everybody has a dog, and I kind of wanted to do a flower bar where people could like build their own bouquet. And then I brought my neighbor into it, and she's like, oh, wait. Well, I was telling her about it because I was super excited. She's like, I have all this stuff already for a flower bar. Don't buy that. And we'll extend it another day. And then we talked to another neighbor and they're like, wait. I have this stuff for that. So as I talked to neighbors, they got excited about the opportunity to be involved. And it turned into a plan to have a good neighbor week with a different little activity every day. And now we've made sure that everybody in the neighborhood can be involved. Like if you don't have a dog, you're gonna like flowers. If you don't like coffee, you're like everybody's gonna have something that they feel included in. So I'm so excited. And I'm not going to tell anybody else about it because I can't have 2 weeks, like two good neighbor weeks. Like we have a week planned.
Love it. Love it, Amanda. So much potential out there. And you never know until you talk to that neighbor who says, oh, I got that. Let's keep going. Like do something else. Use it. Love that. Love that. Well, Jennifer is here from National Good Neighbor. Jennifer, I don't, not to put you on the spot, but I feel like anything that you'd like to say or
I mean, I'm just impressed. Can you hear me? I
Mhm.
froze all of a sudden. Okay. I'm impressed. I'm inspired. Um, I'm slightly teary-eyed because you guys are just doing really great things. And I know you know this, but and Tim said it, like this really does change the world. Like one and every neighborhood that's connected changes our entire landscape. It changes our state, it changes our city, it changes our country, and then it changes the world. That was sort of Jimmy Carter's vision. When he said it, he had sort of a global vision for National Good Neighbor Day. If you look at the entire text, and it was sort of like, if we're going to be good people around the world and have good worldwide relationships, it starts with our neighborhoods. And it's just inspiring uh, to see you all take that on I know that you've got full plates, each one of you. Amina, I'm so sorry about the water in your basement. Because, I mean, that's the daily life of everyone, right? It's not easy to take the time, even to do a small event. It's why sometimes it takes so many years to just do it, right, Sarah? It's like I've been meaning to do it for a lot of years. And so I think this is great. I think this is all giving. Um, the fact that you have community around this together gives you some inspiration and some resources to do it. I think that's fantastic. But what you've done and what you've created really is world changing, and I'm really inspired. And hopefully, some of you will be willing to let me talk a little bit more about what you did, and therefore, inspire more people around the country to do similar things. This continues to grow. I'll wrap it up by saying I'm learning how to change my mindset from sort of the like director to a steward of a movement because I didn't know any of what you were doing. And that's inspiring to me more than if I had a finger in everything. But then now, I have to learn new skills of like how do I continue to steward this movement so that we really do have every neighborhood doing things around the country, and not just on Good Neighbor Day. That's just a catalyst to get the new number, to meet the new neighbor, to do the first thing, to make a neighborhood flag wherever you're at. It's a catalyst to just do the one more thing for connecting. The last thing I'll say is if you need anything, I know Bridget is a fantastic resource for you, but Bridget or anyone else, if you can stream it through Bridget or you can talk to me directly, if there's anything that's helpful to you, let me know. We'll get it up as a resource. It was helpful to know the things that you are downloading. I think I wrote down, it was like, we should make tags so that you could download those that say, it's National Good Neighbor Day. Here's, from whatever, so that you could just download those and have them. We have them for some other things, but I don't have them for Good Neighbor Day. So, that's going to be, I'm going to try to get that up by this year to do, so that you have some easy tags. If what you end up doing is making zucchini bread for 5 people around you, you have a tag for that.
Wonderful.
But
Thank you.
Jennifer, we do
Thank
have
you.
some good news, bad news for you.
Okay.
The good news is Angelina is here from Serbia. And so the bad news is you have a much bigger job than you thought. And we're like already telling, like we have work in Central Africa, Central Asia, like Balkans, Caucasus, and we're telling them all like there's this thing called Good Neighbor Day and it's September.
Do
And
it.
so Bridge has already got
Yes.
like multiple international projects. So I just
Yeah,
get
but
your
not for,
passport
I don't think
ready.
for Good Neighbor Day. I haven't, that might be next year's. That might be the expansion for the next year's
Well,
project.
I don't
Yeah,
know,
but
Bridge.
I
I've been
think that's
telling them,
fantastic.
so they're on board. They're all like, that's a good idea. So
I do think it is. It is the way that we change the world. I truly believe it. It is we don't change it necessarily. I'm not saying that there's not big important discussions that happen in big important places. But we don't change the world with that. We change the world by understanding who's next to us, what their gifts are, how to tap into them, how we need them and they need us. And when everyone does that, it makes a place where everyone belongs, and that changes the world. It is good news, bad news, Tim. And to think about our going beyond Jimmy Carter
There's
quote
stickers and
here.
how many languages can they be downloadable in?
Right. Amazing.
Wonderful. Well, thank you. Thank you for being here, Jennifer, and thanks for sharing that. Thank you, Sarah and Asha and Anne, for sharing your projects with us today. And I don't know if anybody has any questions. I can hang on, but otherwise I'll stop recording for one thing and